Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Two Crazy Guys in One Crazy Crypto World podcast, the podcast that brings you the uninitiated baby boomer, Gen X and Ys out there, the daily updates on the crypto markets, as well as the crypto news of the day. So sit back and join us, Stacy and Chris, for your crazy daily crypto updates. Good morning, buddy. Do you know?
Good morning, mate.
Do you know this is episode 46?
46? We've got to 46.
We have, but you know the amazing part?
No, which bit?
Last week and the week before, we had a few technical issues, ladies and gentlemen.
Just a few.
We had like episode 41 a couple of times and episode 45 a couple of times. So if we didn't have those technical issues, buddy, we'd already be at the half century.
Wow, that's insane.
But now you're just going to have to wait 4 more episodes. Now, starting at day, what are you wearing, Mr. Bosa? What are you wearing? Is that just a straight black T-shirt that you're wearing?
No.
He's got a vest, ladies and gentlemen. Stacy has a cardigan on.
I do have a jacket on. I could take it off though.
No, it's a vest. It's a vest. It's okay. It's not really an old man cardigan.
No, it's not. It's like a tracksuit top.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's what he's telling us.
Could you not read the shirt?
There's no place like 127.0.0.1. Home.
Very good.
No
if you didn't get that, I was going to hit you over the back of the head.
No place like
home. I know I was going to have to do that from 2 states away, but I'd find a way.
Yeah, no, I have absolutely no doubt in the world. I told you about when walking into the bars. So, anything possible. Yes. Whacking my head. My head's still sore where I whack those bars.
Did it knock any sense into you?
Ladies and gents, I was saying to Stacy yesterday, that, I went out and I played golf. Now, I meant to have this set up for you a little bit earlier, but I didn't. So I'll try and do it very quickly now so I can show you what golf in Canberra is like in winter. It is just such an amazing experience. I've got no idea in the world why. AirDrop's not working.
Well, how about I bring up the photos that you sent me?
Yeah, photos. You bring that lovely photo, the one I told you to pull up. Have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. So yesterday, while Stacy's sitting up there in his 28 degrees, and I have no sympathy for him, feeling that sweat running down the back of his ears. Well, I was here in sunny downtown Canberra, and I have my photo. Have you got yours?
Yep,
I've just come up.
The internet's deciding to go a bit.
Is it?
Backy. Yeah, but that's right.
Well, that's right. I'll share mine now.
That's right. I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
I got it. I'm just going to go share. And I'm going to get that one.
Hurry up, because we're talking to people here.
When he says share.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Can you blow that up a little bit, please, Mr. Bosa?
I could probably blow it up a lot, but
just a little bit.
Oh, lost it. There we go.
Well, as you can see, all this area from the trees there, ladies and gents, if you have a look in front of that gentleman who's standing in front of me, all those white bits on the tree, no, that is not a shitty little camera. That's actually snow. The wind was howling at around 40 kilometres an hour, and it snowed, it hailed, and it rained. And that was all in the space of the first couple of holes. It was such a lovely day in Canberra. And this was on a day when the weather forecast was for, there's an 80% chance of a late shower late this afternoon. That's at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, well, weather forecasters, right? The only job in the world where you can be accurate 30% of the time and keep your job.
Yeah, well, that's very true. And it didn't get any better. We were supposed to have a high of 10. If you took in the wind chill, it was about 3 degrees all day. It was just atrocious. There you go. You kill it.
Not good. All right. Not good at all. Well,
I wouldn't say you're aware of it. Scores reflected.
Well, like I said, that's perfectly understandable, my friend. Perfectly understandable.
It was a shocker.
Yes. All right. Well, let's at least Bitcoin's not having a shocker, which is good. It's doing right. Had a bit of a jump overnight.
I've still got that photo up. You haven't changed screens yet?
No, I haven't changed screens. Why?
Well, I've still got the photo. You're still sharing the photo with everyone.
No, you should be seeing the CoinGecko window right now.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Okay, let me stop that share.
Yeah.
And let me try that share again. And, oh, actually, I know why. Because I was sharing that specific window. That's what it is, Mr. Deal.
Difficulties once more.
No difficulties, just stupidity. What can you do?
Bitcoin above 10. It's staying above the 10, so that's
no, it's held 10K support very well, and we had a bit of a jump up and got up to almost 10.8 at one stage, and now sitting at 10.683. So up 3.2% for the day, which is quite nice. And Ethereum's still struggling to get above the 200, but it's up 1.7%. XRP sitting at 27%, down 2.3%. Bitcoin Cash sitting at 320 and just about level. Litecoin lost a little bit of ground overnight, down to 75. And Binance Coin sitting at $28, up almost 2%. EOS $3.68, down 1.6%. And Bitcoin SV 144, up 5.6% for some strange reason. And Cardano at almost just a fraz under the 5 cents and lost 2%. So it's interesting watching the number 10 place just continually swaps between Cardano, Monero, and Stellar. They're just going up and down all the time. It's quite interesting. So,
well, I wish Stellar would sort of jump up there a little bit.
Well, the really interesting thing about that is that the amount of, when you look at the volume for the 24 hours, Cardano and Monero are very similar in volume, just under the 94 million, but Stellar's up to over 125 million. So significantly more volume, but their market caps are very similar, of course, which is the reason why they keep jumping around there all the time.
Yeah, that's true. But Stellar's market cap isn't far behind them either.
No, that's what I mean. Those three, Cardano, Monero, and Stellar, they're bouncing around because they're very close in market cap. So,
yes, but I wish Stellar would go back to its 22 cents. Just saying.
Yeah, it will.
Stellar.
It will. It'll take time. So total market cap has brought some bit more money into it, which is good. We're almost at back up to 280 billion, up 2%.
That's good because we're up 12 billion from a week ago, so that's good.
Yeah. So just looking at the Bitcoin chart on its own lonesome, and we can see a little bit of an uptrend happening there. Oh, reloading. So just a little bit of an uptrend in the last few days. Hopefully that will continue on.
Yep.
All right. Good. Crazy news. What's happening in the world? I saw this article and I thought, I think we're going to start seeing a few more of these sort of articles in the near future. And just another case of something triggers in the economy. People have issues, whatever the case may be, whatever the trigger may be. People get scared. They run to the bank. And then suddenly they'll discover that they can't get all their money out. Right?
Wow.
So it's really interesting that and look, at the moment we sort of look at like a country like Ghana and go, but they're not really. It's not Australia, right? This is Ghana's one of the fastest growing economies in the world, right? And they're and it's wiped out about $1.6 billion worth of value just recently. And in this particular case, their drought conditions and population growth have caused a water shortage and, of course, other vital resources. And that's what's in this case, that's what's causing their problems, right? But it just comes down to the fact that the financial system is not built to support any real crisis.
Yeah, right? That's actually pretty interesting, that one, isn't it?
So it's going to, and unfortunately, the thing is, we're going to see more of it, and that's the concern.
Yeah.
So I think this one was yours, my friend. Binance.
It is. Binance reveals it's launching a coin called Venus, its own project of rival Facebook's Libra. It's not bad, eh? I mean, people talk about Libra and they're saying, it's not a real crypto, it's not this, and I don't disagree. But it must be threatening people if others are starting to launch competitors to it.
Yeah, look, I think there's no doubt when you looked at what Facebook was trying to achieve
Yeah.
with Libra,
Mm.
it was. I mean, it wasn't. It wouldn't have achieved anything that Bitcoin can't already achieve, right?
Yeah.
What they were trying to do is bridge that gap, and I think they thought by pegging it to current fiat currencies, they were going
Yeah.
to have a better chance with regulators and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But where it was very different to Bitcoin was its centralized nature.
That's right.
And Binance, while they are, and I haven't looked into the Venus project,
Mm-hmm.
whether or not they're, I'm just having a quick look, see if they say anything about the decentralized or centralized nature of it.
It doesn't
Um,
actually say.
it's
It doesn't actually
it
say.
says to build a new open alliance and sustainable community. So I'm not really sure what
Yeah,
exactly
and to
that
develop a
means.
new cryptocurrency ecosystem that will empower both developed and developing countries.
Hmm.
So yeah, so not sure. I'm not sure of it, but
Yeah, we'll look into that one, and we'll
Yeah,
look into
finance
that.
is it's going to be pretty big. That's
Oh,
most
look,
important.
but yeah, well, Binance has got the money. There's no doubt about it. I'm sure
So,
they're.
mate, bring up my favourite story of the day, the Warren Buffett one. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is. Now we all know Warren Buffett is a huge fan of Bitcoin, the world's greatest ever investor.
Well,
But
in case people don't realise, Warren Buffett has called it rat poison. He's called
that's
it
right.
rat
That's
poison
sarcasm,
squared.
ladies.
He's likened it to a shell.
And he says that if Bitcoin has value, so does his jacket button, and then he might as well sell it for $1,000, or after a bit of market promotion, $2,000. Right? Now, scroll down a bit for me, bud. This person who wrote this article, Clem Chambers,
Clem
says,
Chambers, yep.
Chambers, Dear Warren, he wrote an open letter to him. Dear Warren, thank you for taking the time to read this article. Please consider my offer of $1,000 for one of your jacket buttons. And if you feel you want $2,000, as per your statement, I'm happy to pay that also. I can pay by cash, check, bank transfer, PayPal, or Apple Pay, or if you should like a crypto coin of your choice. It is awesome. He then goes on to say that he's at heart, he's a value investor whose stock portfolio would poleaxe a herd of stampeding wild beast in coma. It's old school dull. Right, so his article just goes on to say that he is a traditional investor, but he also sees cryptocurrency as one of those things where you can make money, where it has got value. And he just thinks that Warren Buffett, well, basically is saying, hey, really? Seriously, dude? Get on the boat. The
Yeah.
water's deep out there. You got to sink.
Well,
Not that
look.
Warren Buffett's going to lose sleep over Bitcoin. I mean, the guy will be long since passed away by the time that
No, I don't
blockchain
think it will,
issues.
mate. I think he's coming in for a whole world of pain myself, because the fact of the matter is, adoption of cryptocurrencies is going to happen much faster than any other technology that we've
Yeah,
had before, purely because we're so connected now,
yeah.
and because of the impending economic issues that no doubt we're heading full on into. A lot of
Mm.
people are going to rush into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. It's just going to happen.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But I don't think Warren Buffett's going to lose any sleep over it, mate. I don't think he's going to go broke wondering.
Oh, look, he's not going to go broke, but his many billions of dollars that is currently stacked up into the finance system is going to get pummeled. Right?
Yeah.
It's just inevitable. But interestingly enough, he has a shit ton of cash on the sideline.
Yeah, I
Now, for someone who's such an astute investor as himself, he clearly is not confident about the markets. If he's
know.
put so much money into cash on the sideline, then he knows something's coming, right?
But he's always done that. He has always done
Of course. So, but his investment company that is so heavily invested in the finance sector is
that.
going to take a pummeling unless they get out.
Yep.
So, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
All right. What's up next?
So here's a very good indicator of what's to come, and that's transportation. Transportation has nearly always been a really good indicator on the economy, which makes sense because if the economy's moving, people are buying shit, then we need transport to get stuff from A to B. It just makes sense. And so this article has picked up the fact that it says here the trucking industry is officially in a recession, according to data tracked by ACT Research. After months of suggesting a pullback was possible, the ACT president, Kenny Avaith, told FreightWaves on Thursday, July 11th, that all metrics his firm tracks meet the technical definition of a recession, 2 consecutive quarters in negative growth. And so that's just, again, more data that's piling on to the ever-growing list that's telling us that we're heading for tough times. So this was yours, I think, mate.
Yeah, Bitcoin price analysis, Bitcoin nearing a parabolic blow-off. Now, we all know about volcanoes and the parabolic explosion that they do and how you can't run away from it, or pyroclastic blast or whatever it is, then you can't run away from it. Well, in this article, they're saying that the trend on Bitcoin, that if it doesn't run out of resistance, i.e. we're not going to hit that resistance, we will see this testing a second to last weekly level at 16,100. So wouldn't that be nice? I just brought that one up just to say that would be nice. But they're also saying a retracement level is in the support around 8,600. So they're expecting that it will either drop down to the 8.5 or it's going to go up to the 16s.
I love, and it's it's like, and having followed a lot of technical analysis, that's all they do. They look at the chart. And it goes, well, if it breaks out, these are the resistant levels, or if it drops down, this is the support level, and then it's just a matter of.
It's interesting though, because a lot of the analysts for about the last 3 months have all been saying that they expected, not all, but a lot of them have been saying that they expected it would drop down into the 8s before it took off again. And it's pretty much done that. It's gone down to the 9s.
We haven't quite hit the we haven't hit the 8s that they thought they would hit, but we've definitely got into low 9s.
Yeah, but that's interesting because they're not too far off. So let's say that they were talking about the 8s and they're $1,500 off. I'd be happy if they were $1,500 off their 16,000 estimate.
Yeah. So I was just having a look at the chart over the last couple of months, and it looks like our low was 9060. So it basically hit 9,000, and that's been our low since mid-June. So we'd have to go back to where are we here? So it looks like so we'd have to go back to literally mid-June before we were since we're below into the 8s, below the 9. So it's interesting. It is indeed. It is indeed. Now, where are we up to? This one, yes. Now, this one took me by surprise. So we found this notice yesterday that Horizon State is suddenly ceasing operation. Now, it's interesting that what they say here. It's with heavy heart that we've made the decision to shut our doors. While we can't reveal many details of the cause, we can at least say that it has nothing to do with the business, which has been taking consistent strides forward to new heights, and everything to do with recently served legal case in Australia. The estimated cost to challenge this case was going to be way too much for them, and so, which is really interesting because, I love the technology of what these guys were doing. I thought it had a huge amount of potential, and they'd even already used it as and I can't remember, it was something in South Australia that they used their voting on the blockchain technology for. And they were talking about a new governance model and all this talk coming up. And then all of a sudden, this just comes up, and then their website goes down. It all just happened in a matter of hours.
Yeah.
So it is really strange. You said, what was the article? Did you send through that other article?
Yeah, there was another article. I think I sent it to you. The same thing. There was an article on, I'm trying to think of the name and what's happened since then, CoinGate, where they thought it was just a price dump, that they were actually dumping their coins to try and get as much money before they made their announcement.
Interesting.
They had a lawsuit filed against it. It looks like the former CEO may be the person who's filed the lawsuit against them. I'm just looking up an article here now.
Oh, really?
Because it can't reveal many details of the case, we can at least say that it has nothing to do with the business.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, there you go.
So we'll be watching for the news to find out what the story is there.
Yep.
Luckily, I didn't have anything invested in it, but I was seriously looking at it, and I've got to say, because I really like the project, I like the tech. So this one was a real surprise to me. But that's the startup game, right? I mean, 95% of startups fail, whether you're talking crypto world or the traditional space. That's just what happens.
Yeah, there you go.
So very interesting.
But they had already run one election for the South Australian government using blockchain
technology.
Yeah.
Well, they'd already run a pilot project basically.
Yeah.
And so yes.
They have been successful.
No, very strange. And this one here, just to remind people, here in Australia, we're not protected from everything, and all this crazy shit we're seeing around the world. It's very likely that we're heading in the same direction, right? Because our Reserve Bank have come out and publicly said that they're considering extreme measures because they're almost out of ammo. Right, because anyone following the news will know that our Reserve Bank's cut our interest rates down to 1%. So the room to move is very limited. If you normally consider zero the floor, right? And when you look back over history, when we enter a recession, recession or bad times, they generally drop the interest rates on average about 5%. Well, if we're only at 1 and we need to go 5 to stimulate the economy, there's a bit of a problem with our maths. But the extreme measures they're talking about is, of course, what is happening in other places around the world, and that is the negative interest rate policy, or NIRP, as it's referred to. And so we could see negative interest rates in Australia, right? And quantitative easing. So the other thing they've talked about is
apply a negative interest rate policy.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. But the policy's already created, right? The IMF's developed the policy, and other countries are already starting to implement it. But Japan's been doing it for decades, and it has not worked. Right? So the question is, why are we following a policy that clearly does not work? But it's So here in Australia, we're looking like we're heading the same way. They're talking about a program similar to the United States quantitative easing, or QE. And don't get confused by the terms, people. That just means print more money. And print more money means more debt to the country, and it means devaluing our dollar even further. So it's not good for us, whichever way you look at it.
Pick one more story, Mr. Boson, then that's going to have to do us today. We'll just keep on going.
We could. There's another one here, Morgan Stanley saying global economy is deteriorating faster than offsetting policy action, which is sort of in line with what we've just been talking about. So all the quantitative easing and negative interest rates and all these policy things that they're throwing at our economy globally is not working, because the Morgan Stanley's research is telling us that things are going south faster than they can fix it. So it's that's where we're heading. That is where we are heading, my friend.
All right. Now let's go to. Can you bring up one last news story on that news.com link I sent you?
What was that one?
About the giant forks. We're talking about giant forks here, ladies and gentlemen. We're not talking about getting a real steak and having steak and chips and someone giving you a nice fork. As we know, China's been amassing some troops on the Hong Kong border because of the unrest there, and the fact that the protesters have managed to shut down the airport for several days and causing just absolutely untold hundreds of millions of dollars worth of economic damage. Well, China is training with a new thing to, they believe, help stop protesters. There it is. You can see it in that picture there in that middle there. It is a big fork. I'll put you over that for a second, Stacy.
That is just crazy.
There it is there. Now, what it is, it's like a cattle prod. It's like a cattle prod. It delivers an electric charge, and so if they have to go in there, they go whack, and it can cause welts, burns, and puncture wounds. So
Yeah.
I think that anyone in Hong Kong, and I'm not saying the Hong Kong riots are just or unjust, I'm not getting into that. I don't live there. It's not my business. But I would say, guys, Hong Kong is still a Chinese territory these days. So if these guys come in, they won't screw around.
No.
They are crazy enough to go and see the Avengers and see Thor sitting up there, or Thor's dad sitting up there with that big fork, and say in Asgard, and say, hey, that's a good idea. Let's get one of those. That fella at the Asgard gate had a big fork to stop people coming in. Let's use it.
Wow. That's just crazy, crazy stuff, isn't it?
It is. It's just insane. But anyway, I won't be going to Hong Kong anytime soon.
There you go. There you go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it from us, the two crazy guys in the one crazy crypto world, for another day. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the crazy crypto world. And don't forget, as always, you can join us over there on Patreon, where if you become a silver or gold subscriber, we will send you one of these pretty little tokens behind me. Not the silver one, because ours is Litecoin. I haven't found that image yet. But you become a gold subscriber, get a Bitcoin token. Come on, you know you want it. You know you want it. You can do whatever you like with it. It's not really official currency, so you can drill a hole in it, hang around your neck and say, Bitcoin. Whatever. I mean, really, Americans have been using bling forever. Imagine that. You can be the first person in your street with a Bitcoin chain.
Bitcoin bling. Bitcoin bling.
Bitcoin bling. All right. So all the links to all the stories will be in the show notes. And until tomorrow, which will be August 21, episode number 47, we wish you a happy, safe, and merry day. And we shall chat to you tomorrow.
Have a crazy old day, folks, and see you later.
Bye.
Bye.